So many great games in such a short amount of time. What should we play and where? Well, whatever you play, it shouldn't be played like this. So, let's see how high we can get that frame rate. These are the out-of-the-box settings on the Steam Deck. 1280 by 800, medium with FSR 3 on dynamic, with a target of 60. And it doesn't run very smooth. This here is just some relaxed web swinging, but it gets pretty chaotic pretty quick. I mean, take a look at this example here. The first epic fight against the Sandman. These are some of the water paintingest graphics I've seen since The Witcher 3 on the Switch launched, and it becomes clear this is not the way to play it. Don't even try to put the settings on high. Because that'll just straight out crash your Steam Deck. So let's start with some baselining, gentle swinging around with different resolution scaling methods. Then we'll see if we can build our way up to that stable 30 or maybe even 60 FPS. Here's FSR 3, XeSS and iGTI. This last one being Insomniac Games' own super sampling solution. All of these are set to dynamic with a target of 60. And 60 FPS on the Steam Deck for this PS5 game would be pretty insane. Generally speaking, the differences are relatively small. Even with Insomniac's own super sampling method, I don't see a large difference. So I'm going to be sticking with the tried and true FSR 3 from here on out. Thus far we've been running on medium settings with limited success, but we have a few aces up our sleeves. Let's start by dropping the settings to low, and then, dare I say it, very low to see how the Steam Deck handles that. Here's low settings, FSR 3 targeting 60 FPS. We definitely see less of those jarring drops we were seeing during medium settings, but we still barely reach over 30. I bet the old Steam Deck can do better. Very low settings, now we're talking. Graphics took a significant hit, but the game runs significantly better. It's definitely playable, but to be honest, it feels borderline illegal to play a beautiful PS5 game like Spiderman this way. But
hold on to your butts.
Things get worse. Let's lower that resolution. Alright, so this is nothing to look at. But that frame rate. We finally passed that 30 FPS threshold, sometimes even reaching into the 40s. And if we really wanted to, we could turn on FrameGen to boost it. But really, FrameGen shouldn't be used on FPSs lower than 60 because of latency and graphical artifacts, although this already looks pretty crappy, so that last one might be less of a concern. So here it is. Alright, with the Steam Deck baseline established, let's see what we can do on the Ally and Claw 8. Here's the Ally out of the box. High settings, 1920 by 1080, with all the different super sampling engines. And again, I'm going with FSR 3, although I don't see a whole lot of difference between any of them. Overall, a very solid performance from the Ally. And I'm amazed how this PS5 game runs so well on a handheld on high settings. I mean, this game looks genuinely amazing. Just for fun, here's very high settings. Just kidding, this keeps crashing on the Ally, so I don't recommend that. Instead, let's slowly find our way to those higher frame rates. Here's medium settings. Low settings. And that dreaded very low. And here's everything next to each other. On very low, we're already approaching that 60 FPS even on 1920 by 1080. But as we've seen with the Steam Deck, let's sail into uncharted waters and turn that resolution down. Way down. Starting with 1600 by 900. All the different settings showing a marked improvement. And then 1280 by 800, which is the lowest resolution on the Ally. Here's medium settings throughout all the different resolutions just to visualize the improvements. Weirdly enough, on the Claw, I was able to turn the resolution down all the way to 800 by 600, but I'm not sure why that's not available on the Ally. And then for completion's sake, here's the highest frame rate plus FrameGen. Not bad, I think. But we're not done yet. Let's see how the Claw performs. Again, here are all the different sampling techniques on 1920 by 1200. And as with the other consoles, I'm going to be sticking with FSR 3. XeSS and iGTI don't really show a significant difference. But overall so far, the Claw seems to be performing the best of the three platforms at the highest resolution and settings. Very high settings is playable, meaning it doesn't keep crashing like on the Ally, but the frame rate generally doesn't stick to that 30 FPS threshold. There's also ray tracing, but that's just unplayable even on the Claw. So we are continuing on with our quest to improve that frame rate by reducing the settings next. Medium settings, low settings, and lastly, very low settings. With very low settings often already reaching above 60 FPS. But we're not done yet. Time to reduce the resolution. 1600 by 900 first, here are all the settings. And just for fun, a quick comparison between the Ally. Then 1200 by 800, again all the settings. And medium settings against the Ally and the Steam Deck. Lastly, 800 by 600. For some reason the Ally didn't have this setting, but with the Claw we can turn the resolution way down. On very low, this gives us some pretty great frame rates, often between 70 to 85 FPS, but with not so great fidelity of course. And then finally, everything we've been building towards together with FrameGen, which at this frame rate at least wouldn't be a crime to use. Here are the recommended settings for the three consoles. Steam Deck, 800 by 600, low settings. FSR 3 on dynamic with a target of 60, which doesn't look too great, but at least it's playable. The Ally, 1600 by 900 on medium settings with FSR 3 on 60. And then finally the Claw 8, 1600 by 900, high settings with FSR 3 on 60 as well. Anyways, this game is totally playable on the Ally and Claw, but probably shouldn't be played on the deck. And that's it. Watch this for the best turn-based strategy games money can buy, and this one for the best indie games, and I hope to see you in the next one.